Hello and welcome to the Two Ace Podcast, the podcast designed to help you manifest your Two Ace mindset. My name is Josh Brooks and my one focus is success through the art of discipline and flow. I hope you enjoy the episode. Now let's get right into it. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is you are joining me. I hope you're having a good one, and today I'm going to be talking about adaptability. Now, being able to adapt to different situations, different pressures, different times, different places, and still achieve the same work and still be consistent in what you're doing is really important in developing a two-ace mindset. Now, being able to adapt to different situations and different environments, yet still do what you need to do. Like, let's say you have to do something at 6 a.m. UK London time, right? Like trading, for example. You know, the market's open at the same time every single day. But let's say, so that means you've got to wake up at the same time every single day. But if you move country, move time zones, and you still want to trade these certain sessions, you've got to adapt your lifestyle to fit that need and that requirement. So you can still remain consistent in what you're doing. Now, adapting to different times is a really good example, I feel. You know, it's one straight away that people can understand and be like, right, okay, you know, when you go to a different country or when something happens, or like let's say tomorrow morning, you have to be up at a certain time. That means that you've got to change your behavior today and adapt to what is best for tomorrow, if you know what I mean. And being able to adapt to these certain situations is so crucial, because it means that you don't forget who you are and what you're doing. If you're able to adapt to certain changes and different factors altering in your life, and you're able to adapt to that and take it on board and still manage to achieve your full potential, and that's great. That shows near perfection. I'm not going to say perfection, but it shows an awesome understanding and an awesome mindset, because you're able to adapt. You're able to set priorities and adapt accordingly. Now, I've had to adapt recently because I've had exams. I want to share this example because I feel like it's very relatable to a lot of people. If you have exams, now in order to do well in those exams, you've got to put the work in. By putting the work in, you're also putting the time in. By putting the time in to working, to studying, it means you don't have the time, or you won't be spending that time on doing things you want to do. So you have to adapt your lifestyle to that. Now, if you wake up, do work, eat, work, go to bed, wake up, work, you know, you're going to outwork yourself. You're going to burn out. And that isn't really adapting your lifestyle. That's just work. That's just robotic. And it's not really healthy, is it? To be honest, like just working all the time and not having, not adapting to those situations. Because if you've got so much pressure and so much stress and so much work to do, then you also do need that output of something else, like something creative, something that you want to do. You know, like the work-life balance. It's all about balance, and it does shift the balance heavily if you have and do so much work. Because, like I said, you'll burn out. And adapting to these sorts of situations, like, so I've had to adapt to this exam period. I've had to stop doing like work on like my trading sort of thing. I've cut down on the episodes for the podcast because I previously was doing them like every single day, and then it did eventually fade, and I'd do them every couple of days, and then I'd schedule them, and I was ahead of the schedule for like 2 weeks. So the episodes that you will have heard over the past like 10, 15, 20 episodes, they were all recorded like 2 or 3 weeks prior to their release. Whereas this episode and the last episode were recorded the day before they came out. So I'm recording this on Tuesday, and it'll be coming out on the Wednesday. So I've had to adapt my lifestyle in order to still do the things I want to do. Like, I've not stopped doing my podcast. I've not stopped doing the trading. I've not stopped like working out, which is arguably the biggest change and the biggest adaptation that I've had to make. Is I've been spending so much time doing work that I've actually stopped working out as much as I did. Now, I'm still eating well, and I'm still like going on the walks, and doing like the occasional workout, but like it's no way near as intense or time consuming as usual. And that's something that I've had to adapt to and had to sacrifice in order to do this work. And I'm so excited to readapt to having more time to be able to do things like that. And I feel like being able to adapt to different scenarios is it's part of life, really. It's part of just everyday human behavior. You know, every day is a new day, and you've got to adapt to what's coming and what the life and what the world throws at you each and every day. You've got to adapt to it, because if you don't, then you get left behind, you get stuck, you get trapped. You get trapped in a ditch, and all you have to do is just adapt. You know, sometimes the mold changes, and you've just got to fit the mold to make the puzzle fit. Sometimes you've got to make your own mold and fit your own mold. If you make your own mold and still try and fit in an old mold, an old like template, it's not going to work in the future, is it? Because it's an old one. You need to adapt to the new one. And the whole point of this episode is to emphasize how each and everything that I've talked about on this podcast requires adaptation. It requires adaptation to you. It's going to be different from what I do, because everyone is different to me and everyone is different to each other. Yes, people have things in common, but at the end of the day, what I do and say and how I live my life is completely different to everyone else, and vice versa. You know, not one way of living is better than the other. Everyone just lives and everyone learns. You know, it's about adapting to just different situations and different lifestyles, isn't it? It's about adapting those concepts that I've talked about, adapting a discipline, adapting consistency, adapting flow, adapting achievement, adapting your priorities, journaling, your routines. All these different things are adaptive. They change. You change, the world changes. And actively adapting ensures that you're ahead of the curve. It ensures that you don't burn out, and it ensures that you're still improving by that 1% every single day that you can. The ability to adapt, it's like evolution, isn't it? You know, we're constantly evolving. No matter how small these changes are, we're constantly evolving. We're constantly adapting to these new scenarios. You know, I'm not too sure if this is like a fact or not, but it just came to my mind, right? Thumbs are becoming longer and more flexible because of the amount of times people are on their phone. Obviously, that's not scientifically true, or it might be, but like, because of how new phones are in terms of the human like evolution scale, if they continue going, is what I'm saying. If smart phones and touch screens keep on, you know, evolving, adapting, then the human body will adapt to that, because that's how it works. The natural process. And being aware of adaptation keeps you ahead. And adaptability is so key in a 2A's mindset, and building that mindset that you want to have to ensure, you know, the 2A's mindset, it's about building those boundaries that you stick within, and you keep raising the floor as you improve by yourself. So if one day you start at 0 The next day you go to 1, you've built the floor at 1. The next day you go to 2 or 3 or 4, you then build the floor at 3, so then you can never go below that. And then on day 500, you'll be at number 500, and the floor will be at, I don't know, like 470. And what I'm saying is, if you build your 2 East mindset to a point where it's only applicable for your current situation and your current age and your current lifestyle, then how do you expect that template and that mindset to be applicable to yourself in, like next month or even next year or in 20 years' time? It's about longevity. And adaptability and longevity come hand in hand, especially in terms of the 2X mindset. Building your mindset to last you a lifetime is what it's all about, isn't it? Really, like having these, I don't know, like mantras, having these phrases, having these words, these concepts, all these different things to just they're the scaffolding of the building and the foundations of the building that you are as a person, how you're growing and how you're developing. You can't have a skyscraper without some solid foundations. And you can't have a skyscraper without different weather conditions being present during the building process. And what do you have to do during those different weather conditions during the building process? You have to adapt. Improvise, adapt, overcome. And with that, remain consistent, achieve dreams. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this opportunity. I've been your host, Josh. 2 Ace, 1 Focus.